Hi and welcome to tonight's practice. So we're going to be moving a little bit for the beginning of the class, so flowing, getting a bit of heat built. And then for the second half of the class, we're going to really slow things down. So coming into something a little bit more restorative, a yin type practice where we're going to hold just a couple of poses for 3 to 4 minutes per pose to really allow for a deeper stretch. With that in mind, you might want to grab yourself a cushion, maybe a jumper if you're not somewhere particularly warm, as we will heat up and then we'll cool down, so you might want to have something close by. You might also want a block. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a book, you can use a tin, you can use pretty much anything that is hard and kind of a blocky shape. Hardback books work really well. So once you've grabbed everything you can find, you can get your hands on. We're going to start today in a seated position. So cross-legged. If kneeling works better, by all means come to kneeling. If you do have a cushion, maybe you grab the cushion and sit on that. So get nice and comfortable, close down the eyes. And we'll just take a few moments of stillness before we start our practice. So rooting the seat bones down, lifting the crown of the head. Just taking a moment here to drop into your practice, let go of anything that might be going on, might have happened in your day. And gently start to deepen your breath. In and out through the nose if you can. Moving into that full body breath, so finding expansion not only in the chest, the rib cage, but also all the way down into the stomach. And as you sit here, getting into that rhythm of your full body ujjayi breath, so that audible breath at the back of the throat, start to bring your attention, your awareness to the crown of the head. And imagine there's a little opening at the crown of your head, at the top of your head. And at this opening, you're able to just flow out any sensation, any emotion, anything that's been going on today, this week, this month, this lockdown, that's just not serving you. So allowing this sensation of flowing out, letting go. Starting to unwind as you release, you let go. Even if you haven't had a particularly stressful day, week, it's still nice to let go of anything that is just not serving you. And with that sensation of flowing, of releasing, keep the spine nice and long, keep breathing in and out. If the eyes are still closed, gently open them up, come back into this space, into this room. Make your way onto all fours, tabletop. So knees are hip width, wrists, hands are shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers wide and let's just warm up the wrists a little bit before we get moving. So start taking big rotations around the wrists. As you move, notice when you start feeling it in the forearms, maybe the hands a little bit. And try and breathe as you move. Let's change direction. So going the other way, make sure you're pressing down with each knuckle pad, the big thumb, the thumb, the thumb knuckle pad as well, the big thumb. Keep breathing as you're moving. And then let's bring yourself to stillness. Walk your left fingertips towards the left, right towards the right. And take a gentle sway from side to side now. So really aware of the parts of the hand that are pressing down, noticing the limit of your motion this evening. Maybe things are feeling a little bit tight, or maybe they're feeling nice and open. Bring yourself to stillness. Walk your fingertips so they're facing back towards you. And see if with the fingertips facing back towards your knees, you can keep the whole of the hand still on the floor. So sometimes the heel of the wrist might want to start lifting. And see if you can really root it down. If this alone is really intense, just stay in stillness and breathe here. Otherwise, a gentle rock backwards and forwards. It doesn't have to be too much of a movement. It's making sure that heel of the wrist, heel of the hand doesn't start lifting. And then releasing your hands, sit back on your heels, just shake the wrists out a couple of times. I'm going to take this off because we're going to get moving. I'll keep it to one side. From here, you're going to start to walk your hands forwards, lift your hips so they're in line with the knees, dropping down into your puppy dog pose. Forehead reaches towards the floor, or maybe the chin rests on the floor. Think about reaching the chest down here. So you want to feel quite a strong sensation all the way through the shoulder blades, the center of the back. Forearms are also pressing down, and we're trying to have the forearms in line with each other here. And once you find forearms in line, slowly start to roll yourself forwards, finding a forearm plank. So hands want to be parallel, forearms want to be parallel, hands might come towards each other, big toes touching, or keep them in line with the elbows. Just breathe here. Bring your big toes together to touch and spin onto your right side. So we're in our forearm side plank, left arm is up. Try and stack the feet on top of each other. Keep lifting the hips up nice and high. Again, moving slowly with control, left forearm comes down, spin over, forearm side plank the other way. Right arm lifts. Really squeeze the core muscles in towards the spine. And coming back to your forearm plank. Just holding it here, squeeze the muscles in the legs. Allow the body to be so switched on that it feels a little bit lighter. And drop your knees down. Take an inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, find your downward facing dog. So lift the hips up nice and high. Maybe pedal the feet out a little bit, bending one knee at a time. And bring your dog to stillness. Really think about reaching the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And pressing the hands down and forward. So you're really trying to find length through the whole spine. Walk your feet to your hands and take a ragdoll at the top of the mat. Opposite hand comes to opposite elbow. The head hangs heavy. Maybe a little sway side to side. Maybe a little bounce. Just noticing how the hamstring's feeling today. Release the hands. On an inhale, we rise up to standing and reach up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back, high plank. So we've already just warmed up the shoulders slightly. Notice how it feels to be on the hands now. Drop your knees, untuck your toes. Come all the way down onto the mat. Peel your chest open, baby cobra. Just use your back muscles here. Come back through your knees, downward facing dog. Big breath in. And as you exhale, soften your knees, gaze in between your hands, walk, step or float to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, we rise up, reach tall. Exhale to fold forwards. Halfway lift. High to low plank, dropping the knees if that feels good. Inhale, another cobra or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. So each vinyasa we take, choose which variation you take. Notice how your body's feeling and listen to what it's telling you. Big breath in. As you exhale, soften knees, gaze forwards, walk, step, or maybe float to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, rise tall, reach up. Exhale, bow forwards. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Upward facing, or it's a cobra, open through the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Always taking your down dog as an opportunity to just check in. Your hands, your feet, your breath. What's going on in this pose right now? Full breath in. As you exhale, feet to hands. Halfway lift. fold. Bring your big toes to touch. Bend your knees for a chair pose. Sitting right back in the heels here. How low can you sink your hips? Ujjayi breath. How strong is your breath here? Can you breathe a little bit louder? In through the nose. Exhale to fold. Lift halfway. High plank. Pausing here. Feet to touch. Spin open. Side plank on the right. So right hand down, left arm up. Spinning all the way onto the other side. Left arm down. Right fingertips reach tall. Keep the core strong. So you keep nice and stable here. Right hand comes to the mat. Low plank. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale as you rise tall. Open out into your warrior two. So check in with the front knees, bending towards the baby toe and not the big toe. From here, we're going to transition into our half moon. So start to tilt forwards, lift that left foot up. Right fingertips, maybe they hover off the floor, maybe they reach the floor. Flex the left toes back towards you. Keep breathing. Gently step that left foot back. You're back in your warrior two. Flip your front palm and reverse. Windmill the arms to the mat. High to low plank. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Again, taking a moment here in this first set of flow, set of warriors, what's happening with the feet, really pressing them down. Half moon, start to shift your way forwards, lift that right foot. Maybe left hand hovers off the floor, maybe it touches the floor. Start to bend through that left knee, stepping back, warrior two. Flip your front palm and reverse. Windmill the arms to the mat, high to low plank. Upward facing. Downward facing. Ujjayi breath. Soften your knees. Gaze forwards, walk, step, or jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. Exhale to bow forwards. Halfway lift. High plank. Going with that same sequence, spin open, side plank, right hand down, left arm up. Left hand reaches towards the floor, spin open, side plank the other way. Place both hands on the mat, take your vinyasa. Up dog, down dog. Right foot steps forwards, warrior one, inhale to rise. Exhale, warrior two. As you inhale, you tilt yourself forwards, come all the way back into your half moon. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior through your vinyasa, high to low plank. Up dog, down dog. And left foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise. Warrior two. Inhale, find your half moon. Take it easy. You might be a little bit wobbly like me. Exhale, gently step back, warrior two. Inhale, we reverse. Exhale, high to low plank. Moving with the speed of your own breath. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So noticing what's happening to your breath as you start flowing. You start moving a little bit more, maybe you're heating up. Notice it, feel it. Allow the sensations to take over your body. Soften knees, gaze forwards, jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose, one breath, rise up. Bow forwards. Halfway lift. High plank, going through that side plank variation. Spin onto the right hand, left hand lifts. Spinning all the way onto that left hand, right hand lifts. Keeping the feet stacked if you can. Place both hands to the mat, low plank. Up dog, down dog. Right foot forwards, warrior one, inhale, right. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale brings you to your half moon. Exhale, gently step that foot back, warrior two. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forwards, warrior one. Warrior two. Half moon, take your time, gently into it. Start to bend the left knee, you're back in your warrior two. Reverse. Low plank, moving with your own breath. There's no rush, one breath, one movement. Taking a few breaths in your down dog. If you've lost your breath and need to come to child's pose, please do. And let's take a big sigh wherever you are. Nice big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, just let it go. Bring your big toes to touch. Lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee and open the hips. So really pressing both hands down and forwards here. How high can you lift your right knee? Options to stay where you are or gently flip your dog, your choice. If you're flipping, turn both feet to face the back of the wall. Lift the hips as you reach your fingertips towards the top of your mat. Place both hands back on the mat. Lift that right leg up. Three-legged down dog. Bring your knee to your nose. Kick back. Bring your knee to your right elbow. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your left elbow. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your nose and then gently step that foot in between your hands. Rise up, crescent lunge. Finding your breath, your balance in your lunge. Breathing here. Hands come together at heart center. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, we're twisting towards our right. So hook your left elbow over your right thigh. Really open through the chest as much as you can. Keep lifting the back of that left knee up towards the ceiling. Moving slowly, come back to center. That knee is still bent. Gently start to lean your way into that front foot. Wrap your left leg over your right. Left arm comes under your right. You're in your eagle pose. Elbows are in line with shoulders, so they're not sinking down here. Squeeze the thighs together and see if you can sink the hips a little bit lower. Keeping the right knee bent, unravel back into your crescent lunge. Keeping the bend in the front knee open to your warrior two. Flip your front palm and reverse. Windmill the arms to the mat. Take a vinyasa, or maybe skip it out, come straight to down dog, your choice. Let's go on the left, feet to touch. Left leg lifts. Bend your left knee open through the hips. So try not to have the twist come from the shoulders here. More from the lower spine, the hip socket, really reaching the knee up, the left heel towards the seat bones. Options to stay here, or maybe go for that flip dog, placing both feet flat to the floor, facing towards the back of your mat. Press the hips up nice and high here. Make sure you're breathing. Place both hands back to the mat, left leg lifts, three-legged down dog. Bring your knee to your nose. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your left elbow. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your right elbow. Kick it back. Knee to nose. Crescent lunge. Step that foot in between the hands. Rise up tall. Take any movement you need here. Maybe lengthen the stance. Maybe bend into the front knee a little bit more. Hands come together at heart center. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, twisting towards your left this time. Really use that connection between the elbow and thigh to open the chest up as much as you can. Maybe feel your stomach expand as you inhale. Feel it pressing against the thigh. Come back to center, crescent lunge. Eagle pose, right leg comes over left, right arm goes under left. Think about stacking the shoulders on top of the hips. Often when we come to this pose, we kind of round through the back. Keep everything upright if you can. Unravel back, crescent lunge. Keep the bend in the front knee, warrior two, open out. Flip your front palm, reverse. Windmill the arms down. Go ahead, take a vinyasa. Maybe you skip it, step straight to down dog. Maybe you come to a child's pose. You choose. Roll yourself forwards to a high plank. Options to drop the knees or keep them lifted. Keep the core engaged. Don't let the hips sink here. So really pull the tummy button in and up. Shift your weight forward so the shoulders come over the wrists. Take a low plank. High plank. Down dog. We're going to do that 2 more times. So notice if your hips were sinking or if you found it too challenging. Just drop the knees down. Try not to let the shoulder heads go lower than the elbows. Let's go again. Inhale, we roll ourselves forwards to our high plank. We shift our shoulders so they're over the wrists. Bend your elbows, low plank. Push the earth away, high plank. Down facing dog. Nice work. We're going to take 1 more variation of this. Roll forwards to your high plank. Listen carefully this time. Bend your elbows, low plank. Take an up dog. So in your up dog, your knees are lifted off the mat, arms are straight. From here, bend your elbows, low plank. High plank. Downward facing dog. Roll yourself forwards to your high plank. As fast or as slowly as you like, lower all the way down onto your tummy. Take a breath, take a moment, bring one cheek down. Enjoy the sensation of your mat beneath you. If you need to sigh, please do. Flip your palms so they face the floor. Bring your big toes to touch and think about pressing the pelvis down into the mat. So a tuck of the tailbone here. Then lift up, locust pose. So lifting as much of your body up off the mat as you can here. Reach the fingertips back as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Keep breathing deeply. Maybe you lift a little bit higher on each inhale. And we release, let go. Bring the opposite cheek down towards the mat. Let the arms rest. Maybe sway the hips a little bit from side to side. Release any tension in the lower back. Interlace your fingers at your sacrum this time. Again, find that tuck of the tailbone. Press the pelvis down. Feel the core muscles switch on. And then lift up, locust. Again, think about squeezing the shoulder blades together. Gaze is down but forwards. We don't want to compress the back of the neck by looking straight ahead. Reach the toes a little bit further backwards. Keep breathing. And we gently let go, release. Bring the other cheek back to the mat. Again, sway the hips if that feels good here. We're going to take another locust from here. Choose which variation you prefer. So either palms facing down or hands interlaced. Which one would feel better in your body? Whichever one it was, press down and then lift up. Maybe you try one out and then think, oh, I might try the other one. You don't need to make up your mind and completely stick to it in this practice. But keep breathing nice and deeply. Last big breath in. And as you exhale, you release, let it go. Again, swaying the hips might feel nice, especially if you're holding a lot of tension in the lower back. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders so the fingertips are just a little bit lower than the shoulders. We're going to press up into a high plank. So tuck the toes under. Really visualize yourself doing it in one straight line, one strong push up. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale it out, high plank. Nice, downward facing dog. Walk, step, or float to the top of the mat. On an inhale, we slowly roll up to standing. Have your head as the last thing to lift. Come all the way up to standing. Find Tadasana. Feet are hip width apart. Hands alongside the body, palms facing forwards. Really root down with the four corners, so the outer edges of each of your feet. Pull up on the kneecaps, so engage muscles in the legs. Keep the fingertips sparked alive, and allow the shoulder blades to just sink down the spine. It's a gentle tuck of the tailbone to keep the pelvis nice and neutral here. And then lift the crown of your head. See if you can stand a little bit taller. So you'll soon notice that a simple pose of standing up tall, engaging from the floor upwards, is actually quite challenging. We're going to stay standing, but we're going to lift up onto our tippy toes nice and slowly. And lower back down. We're going to do this 3 more times. So slowly lifting up, it might feel wobbly, it might feel shaky. Notice if one side is a little bit weaker than the other, slowly lower down. Try and do it with control. Lifting up, maybe you lift a little bit higher this time. And slowly release. Last one, lifting up all the way. Find the highest point you can come to on your toes and then just pause here. It might feel a little bit crampy, a little bit uncomfortable in the calf muscle, around the Achilles. And then slowly lower the feet down. It might feel nice here to just roll each of your ankles. Make sure you go in both directions. Tree pose. Sole of the right foot to the inside of the calf or the thigh. Hands come together at heart center. Really find your foundation here. So root that standing foot down. Find your balance. Not like me today. Focus your eyes on something in front of you. Find that center. So really find a space of calm here. You can choose if you keep your hands at heart center, or maybe you open them up towards the ceiling. Choose if you keep your eyes exactly where they are, maybe bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. Notice what's happened to your breath here. If you've lost it a little bit, just bring it back in. Don't worry about losing your breath, but just always guiding yourself back towards it. Notice if you're holding tension in the face, what expression you're making here, and try and bring some softness into that expression. Let's release both feet back down onto the mat. Go on the other side, sole of the left foot to the inside of the calf or the thigh. Again, start with hands at heart center. Really find your foundation here. Press that standing foot down into the floor. And then once you're ready, open up, grow your tree. Options here to bring your gaze up towards the ceiling if you liked that, or maybe close your eyes. Notice what happens when you lose one of your senses. And if you do fall or if you do wobble, try and find some lightness in it. Don't take it too seriously. I'm sure most of you are at home in a room on your own and no one's watching, so you're more than able to laugh at yourself. Let's gently place both feet down, release the hands. Again, take any movement here, any shakes, release. If you are not there already, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up tall. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Have your big toes touching, bend your knees for a chair pose. Sitting nice and low in your chair. The last little bit of heat, of fire in the body before we start winding things down, moving into our more restorative poses. So really enjoy this sensation in the legs, the feeling of using your muscles, of using the strength that you have in your body. Focus on breathing in and out through the nose. How loud can you breathe here? Allow your Ujjayi breath to just power you in this pose. Keeping everything where it is, but just start to bend the knees a little bit more. Can you bend your knees so much that your seat bones come all the way down onto the mat? Finding your way onto the mat any way you can. Feet flat to the floor, arms out in front of you. Slowly, slowly lower down onto your back. And once you find a position lying on your back, we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana, or a butterfly pose. So soles of the feet to touch, knees are open wide. You can choose here. Maybe arms are alongside your body, palms facing the ceiling. Or maybe you reach your hands up overhead, so they're on the floor behind you. If this feels uncomfortable in your groin area or your knees, you might want to grab the cushions or whatever it is you've got and just support underneath the knees here. Otherwise, we'll just take a few moments to really settle down after moving quite dynamically, getting our blood pumping, allowing yourself to drop all of that, to let go of the Ujjayi breath that we've been focusing so much on in our vinyasa practice, and moving back into a natural breath. But even though we're moving into our more natural breath, see if you can keep a watchful gaze over that breath coming in and out. It's always a great anchor for any yoga practice, any meditation practice. Following your breath with your gaze, with your attention. And as we start really slowing things down, notice how that feels for you. We're often in such a rush. We're so determined to get moving, get progressing, get exercising. And as challenging as this lockdown has been for a lot of people, it's also been a wonderful opportunity to really look inwards, step inwards. Just as we are doing right now, you're allowing this time for yourself. So as we go more into our yin type practice, we take poses and we hold them for between 3 to 5 minutes. And the main reason we do this is to start releasing our fascia tissue. So if you're newer to this sort of practice, fascia is a connective tissue that is found all over the body. A good way to think of it is almost like a cling film that wraps around the muscles, the joints, the tendons, the ligaments. And over time, especially if you're more stationary or if you take repetitive movements, repetitive exercise, or if you've had injuries, this fascia tissue can build up and cause tightness, cause stiffness, immobility. And by holding these poses for a longer period of time, you really start to hydrate this fascia tissue. And when you hydrate it, you allow it to move and to release. And we're going to gently come out of this pose. And in our yin yoga, we take a little rebound. So just coming to lying flat on your back here. You can have arms alongside the body, palms facing up, almost like your shavasana. So feet are falling out to the sides. Allowing yourself this time in between poses to really check in. How did that feel in your body? How does your body feel now? The next pose we're going to take is a little supine twist, a spinal twist. So I'm going to use my cushion. If you do have a cushion, it's a lovely time to grab it, place it alongside the left side of your body. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Let your right knee fall over towards that cushion. But try and keep both of your shoulders on the mat here. So you're just going for a twist. Arms are, if you have space, open in a T shape, or maybe you can bend the elbows and go for more cactus arms. And gaze comes towards the right, so looking over towards your right fingertips. And what we're looking for here is a stretch through the lower portion of our spine. You might feel it a little bit in your glute as well, your right glute. But our main focus here is our lower spine, our thoracic spine. And even though we rely on our spine so much, this is an area of the spine that we hold a lot of tension in. There's really thick, dense fascial tissue that does protect our spine, but it can also build up and cause other more problematic things there. And as we stay here, noticing if you need to make any alterations to this pose. So it might feel nice to pull that right knee a little bit further up towards your left armpits. You might even place your left hand on top of the left knee, sort of weighing it down slightly. We're really dropping into our parasympathetic nervous system. So our rest and digest. Allowing our body and our mind to become a little bit less reactive and a little bit more introspective. And we're going to make our way back to center. And this time we're going to go straight into the next pose. So not taking that time, maybe placing your cushion onto the other side. If you're using a cushion, hug your left knee in, give it a nice big squeeze. Then let that left knee fall over towards the right. Again, really trying to keep both shoulders grounding down. Left arm opens towards the left, maybe gazing over those left fingertips. And in this slower practice, you can choose if you keep your eyes open or if you close them down. So sometimes closing eyes can feel really nice and nourishing for our body. But at other times, closing your eyes might feel a little bit distracting, like your imagination starts running a little bit wild. So choose which you prefer and feel free to change your mind. All of us are built so differently, so uniquely. We look just as different on the inside as we do on the outside. So don't be surprised if a pose doesn't suit your body or a cue you hear in a yoga class doesn't work for you. Maybe a pose you see on social media and you wonder why you can't do it. And rather than think that, think of something you can do, something that your wonderful body is capable of. Again, noticing if you need more by lifting that left knee a little bit higher, or if you need a little bit less and backing off. This is your practice. And as I said, everyone's so wonderfully unique that you might not need to listen to anything I say. You might know what's best for your body. And we're going to release this side. And this time we will take a little rebound pose, lying on our backs. If you're craving an alternative here, please feel free. Otherwise, just taking these moments, checking in. How did that pose feel in your body? No rush onto the next thing, the next pose, the next accomplishment. Just taking your time. From here, we're going to roll onto our stomachs and we're going to go for a shoulder stretch. So you can have the cushion nearby if you want to, but we're going to lie on our tummies here and reach our right arm out towards the right. So you want the right arm in line with the shoulder here. From here, you're going to press down into the left hand and spin onto the right side. You can choose, if it's enough for you to keep the legs stacked on top of each other, go for that. Otherwise, bending that left knee, placing the sole of the left foot on the floor. If your head is sort of hovering off the floor, you might want to place a block underneath it, a cushion underneath it. And if you need more, you can press the left hand down into the floor a little bit more. Just running your awareness over the shoulder. Which parts of your shoulder are you feeling this in? Might be underneath the shoulder blades, the outer edge of the shoulder, maybe towards the front of the chest, the pec area. And we want to look after our shoulders here. So if something doesn't feel right, or if this is feeling a little bit intense for you, feel free to back off a little bit. But equally, if this is feeling wonderful and you're getting right into a spot that feels like it really needs to be stretched, feel free to press down, go into it a little bit more. And we're going to gently release this side. So coming back to lying on your tummy. And we are going to take a rebound. So arms come alongside you. Maybe bring the opposite cheek down. Taking a couple of moments here just to let that settle in. And then let's go on the other side. So reaching the left arm out towards the left. Press down with the right hand coming onto your left side. Maybe you stay with legs stacked on top of each other. Maybe you bend that right knee and place the sole of the right foot on the floor. Choose the intensity of this pose. So if this is too much, go ahead and keep the legs stacked. If you want more, pressing the right hand down a little bit more. So rather than worrying about what a pose might look like, what a pose maybe should look like, or doing a pose, doing yoga, we're trying to move away from that and just to be, being in the pose, not worrying about how you think it should look or what you think you should be doing. Listen to what your body is trying to tell you and make any movement, make any adjustments that requires. So thinking of this space as also a space for you to really explore your body. As we're staying here, really rehydrating that fascia tissue that, especially underneath those shoulder blades, can really build up. It's an area in the body that most people hold a lot of tension. We tend to slouch when we're seated, rounding the shoulders. Our gaze is often down at smartphones, iPads, whatever it is you might be using or typing away at. And then we're going to release this side. So again, just come to lying on your tummy. It might feel nice to place hands flat on the floor and rest your forehead on the backs of the hands, or it might feel nice to just let the arms come alongside the body and really release whatever it is you need to release. Next pose we are taking is a half frog. So staying on your tummy, you might want to grab hold of your cushion, your blanket, especially if you're on a hard floor like I am. And it's kind of similar to what we did in our twist, but a little bit different, but some of the cues are kind of the same. So we're going to bend our right knee. So staying on your tummy as much as you can, you're going to bend your right knee in and open it out. So our full frog in our vinyasa pose, some of you might know, but you're pulling that knee up towards you as much as you can. You don't have to have a cushion underneath, and you can bring a cushion underneath your head if that feels nice. So what we're looking for here is quite a gentle sensation to begin with, because we're going to be here for a little while, all the way along the inner edge of your thigh, so your adductor. Just checking in. If you're really not feeling it, you might want to lift that right knee a little bit higher, or push it out towards the right a little bit more. You can choose. And so we're really stretching out these adductor muscles, which are really important in our pelvic floor health. So as we stay here, we're really letting our upper body feel heavy on the mat. Our bones, our body is just heavy, relaxing down. And our yin yoga is very much influenced by Chinese medicine. And in the Western world, we don't tend to know much about or think about Chinese medicine and the effects all of these sort of cyclical practices have on our body. And so the meridian lines that are associated with any sort of stretch along this inner line of our thigh, they are associated with our liver and our gallbladder. And this meridian line can be affected, or it's sort of most prominent during spring. So this time of the year when there's so much new, there's so much birth, there's flowers budding on trees, there's new beginnings, new chapters. And maybe thinking about what that might mean for you this spring, even though we're in slightly more unusual circumstances than normal. What new beginnings have you got going on? Or what plans for new beginnings do you have? And we're going to gently release this side, so you can just sort of swivel your way back onto your stomach. You might want to stay with the hands where they are, maybe release the arms alongside the body if that feels good. Maybe noticing if there's any difference in sensation in the sides of your body. Maybe your right leg feels a little bit different to your left. And then let's do that on the other side. So if you do have that cushion, if you liked it, you might not want the cushion on this one, or you might want your cushion underneath your head. But if, like me, you're on a hard floor, just to soften that for the knee, it might feel nicer. So getting yourself prepared, and then again letting the upper body feel heavy on the mat. Maybe the right cheek comes towards the floor. Really settling down into this pose. And even though we are taking these as slightly longer held poses, and we are more static, we're staying with the pose. Feel free to make any adjustments once you're in the pose. So if you feel like something isn't quite right, isn't really working for you, feel free to change it up, make any alterations that you might need. And you'll notice that in our yin yoga practice, we spend a lot of time down on the floor. And this has a really grounding effect on our body. In day-to-day life, we don't often spend much time seated or lying down on the floor. And yet it does feel so wonderful in our body. And in practice, or this slower yoga is a really personal practice. As I've mentioned already, we all have such different bodies that often poses need to be quite different for each of us. And so that's why it's a wonderful practice to do in the privacy of your own home. It really is time for you to just settle down, be with yourself. We're going to gently release this side. So again, just coming onto your front, pausing here. And then nice and slowly, nice and gently, lifting yourself up. We're going to take one more pose this evening. And it's going to be a caterpillar pose. So that is a forward fold. You're going to need cushions or blocks or anything that you have around. Legs are straight out in front of you. You can have a little gap in between them if that feels good. If you have a cushion, you can grab it. But we want to come to a sort of forward fold. If you have a few cushions, you might want to build yourself a little tower to place your forehead on. But really think about rounding the back. If you can, find something to rest your forehead on. So you can be letting the head hang, but it will feel nicer if your forehead is resting down. And here we are, getting into the whole back line of the body. The back line runs all the way from the back of the heel to the crown of the head. So you can feel it anywhere along the back of your body here. But probably for most of you, you're going to feel this a lot in the hamstring. And that's great, that's what we want here. But what we don't want is it behind the knee or sort of where joints are. So think about the hamstring and then think about the belly of that muscle. So right in the center. That's where you want to feel this, deep in the center. If you feel any tugging sensation towards the ends of your hamstring, then take a little bend in the knees. And so that's why it might be nice to have the legs open a bit so your little pillows or whatever you've got are coming in between the legs. And if you are just feeling particularly tight, taking that little bend in the knees might feel great anyway. Checking in that tension isn't creeping up anywhere else, so maybe the jaw, maybe the forehead. Just allowing everything to be as soft, as gentle as possible here. And we're going to gently roll ourselves back up. We're going to come into our Shavasana now. If you have a long pillow like me, or even if you have two smaller ones, you might want to choose to place these underneath your knees. It feels really nice for Shavasana. If you have a jumper, maybe grabbing your jumper, but coming to lying on your back. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Allow your palms to face the ceiling, feet to fall open to the sides. Let everything come to stillness for your final rest, Shavasana. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement to your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. Reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch, really stretching out along your mat. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position, pausing here. And then nice and slowly, with control, come up to a seated position. Hands together at heart center and the eyes are closed. Enjoying the stillness, the peace that your body is feeling right now. And with that stillness, gather up that energy as you squeeze your palms towards each other. Lift the thumb knuckles up to the forehead center. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoyed your practice. Any questions, let me know. So we did power vinyasa, more than power, a bit of vinyasa into a little yin session. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're feeling nice and relaxed for your evening ahead. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.